Welcome to the Deep Dive. This is the show where we take your sources,
Right. Your articles, your research,
Yeah,
whatever you've got.
and we just, pull them apart to have the most targeted, most informed conversation you're going to have all week.
And today, our deep dive is, well, it's for a very specific kind of traveler.
Yeah.
The one who has convenience, but also, authenticity.
Yeah, that's a tough balance to strike.
It really is. And our focus today is squarely on the island of enchantment, Puerto Rico. We're getting into the culture, the costs, the logistics.
Okay, so let's unpack this.
Okay.
Our source material is this fantastic travel guide that really works like a comparison engine. It pits the pure logistical ease of a domestic trip for our U.S. listeners against the rich and sometimes challenging cultural experiences the island offers.
It really forces you to look beyond the typical tourist spots, beyond just San Juan. The guide shines a light on not just the capital, but the tropical heart of El Yunque National Forest, the incredible quiet of VX, and crucially, the often overlooked history and culture of Ponce on the south coast.
So the core mission for you, our listener, is pretty clear. How do you leverage that incredible convenience of a domestic trip? I mean, no passport, no customs, chaos.
Oh, it's just huge.
It's a game changer. But how do you leverage that while also maximizing the truly exotic, deep, cultural, and frankly, world-class natural experiences that Puerto Rico is just waiting to offer?
That's the key question. Because Puerto Rico is just a masterclass in this kind of duality. You land, and right away you're seeing familiar things.
The U.S. dollar, English signs everywhere. You see Walgreens.
Exactly. But the second you step outside that bubble, I mean, you are instantly immersed in a very distinct Latin American culture.
And that ease of entry can be a little bit deceptive.
Oh, completely. If you go in assuming this is just another U.S. beach destination, you will miss the entire point of the island.
You'll have a nice time, but you won't have a Puerto Rican time.
Precisely. So what we're doing today is providing that detailed, actionable context you need to move beyond the superficial and get into that true, Boricua immersion.
Okay, let's start with the hard realities then, the technical stuff. Arrival and how you get around.
The logistics.
Yeah. And the sources all agree Puerto Rico's biggest draw for the U.S. market is that one phenomenal selling point: convenience.
It is genuinely one of the easiest ways for a U.S. resident to get into a truly tropical Caribbean environment. You're flying into Luis Muñoz Marin International Airport, SJU, in San Juan.
And because it's a U.S. territory.
It's a domestic flight. And that single fact just eliminates half the friction of international travel right off the bat.
When you say eliminating friction, we're talking about real time savers here. You don't have to check your passport expiration date 6 months in advance.
No complex visa forms, no.
Yeah.
And this is the big one. Zero time spent waiting in those endless customs and immigration lines.
Right. You just land, you grab your bag, and you walk out into the Caribbean air.
It's instantaneous tropical immersion. It feels like you're cheating the system.
And the flight infrastructure itself is pretty robust.
Very robust. The source material points out that SJU gets flights from major hubs all across the U.S., way more than most other Caribbean islands.
So if you're on the East Coast especially.
Oh yeah, if you're flying from Florida, New York, Boston, flights are plentiful, often direct, and can be remarkably affordable if you time it right. That abundance is key.
Okay, so that brings up the big question of timing. You mentioned a risk assessment. Let's talk about the climate.
Right. The ease of entry is fantastic. But you can't ignore the calendar. We have to be really clear here.
Wow.
Hurricane season officially runs from June 1st to November 30th.
That's a huge chunk of the year.
It is. And while you can definitely find some great deals during those months, especially late summer, you are accepting a non-trivial risk.
A risk of what, specifically?
Disruption.
Disruption, severe weather, or just, persistent, monotonous, heavy rain that can ruin a beach vacation. So what's the advice for that sweet spot? The balance between good weather and good prices.
It all comes down to the shoulder seasons. The sources consistently point to two specific windows.
Okay.
First, April and May. You generally get reliably sunny pre-summer weather before the real heat and humidity kick in, and the prices are usually dropping after spring break.
And the second window.
Late November.
Mm-hmm.
Right after Thanksgiving, but before that big Christmas holiday rush starts in mid-December.
So you're probably avoiding the worst of the hurricane activity then.
You are. And you're getting a significant price break before the high season demand kicks in. It's about leveraging that convenience while minimizing the weather risk.
Okay, so we've landed, we picked the perfect weather window. Now for what the guide calls the biggest logistical hurdle. The thing that separates the casual visitor from the real explorer.
Local motion. Transportation.
And the guide is, well, it's unequivocal about this.
It's the single most critical piece of advice if you're leaving San Juan. You need a rental car. It's mandatory. This is non-negotiable if you want to unlock the island's potential.
But why so insistent? I mean, services like Uber and Lyft exist there, right?
They do, and they work great within the high-density areas. San Juan, Condado, Ala Verde, you're fine.
But the minute you want to go to a trailhead in the mountains...
The minute you want to do that, or visit a remote beach, or find one of those amazing lechon spots in Guavate, those services become spotty, unreliable, or they're just not there at all.
And a private taxi for a long trip would just destroy your budget.
It would bankrupt you. A round trip to a remote location would cost a fortune.
The island's scale is also really deceiving. It looks small on a map, but it's bigger than people think.
Absolutely. We're not talking about a quick hop across a little key. Puerto Rico is large. You have to account for real driving time.
So that drive, for instance, from San Juan on the north coast down to Ponce on the south coast.
That's a solid 90 minutes of dedicated driving. And that's on major roads, assuming you don't hit any serious traffic.
But renting a car there, it comes with its own set of challenges that you need to be ready for.
Let's get into the granular details here, the hidden costs.
There are 3 big points of friction. First one is insurance.
Okay.
A lot of U.S. auto policies, or even the insurance on your credit card, they don't fully cover rentals in U.S. territories. Or the rental agencies on the ground will just insist you buy their local liability insurance anyway.
And that can really add up.
It can significantly inflate the daily cost. Sometimes it can even double it. So you have to budget for a much higher total rental price than what you see online.
That's a crucial tip. What's the second point of friction?
The toll system. Puerto Rico uses an electronic toll system called Auto Expreso.
And if you're leaving San Juan, you're going to hit these.
You will absolutely hit tolls. And your rental agency will offer you their transponder, usually for a premium daily fee.
And the advice from the sources is, just pay the fee. Pay the daily fee for the transponder. Trying to deal with cash lanes, which are disappearing, or paying fines after the fact is a bureaucratic nightmare. Just accept the transponder costs and save yourself the headache.
Okay, and the third point, the driving itself. The source material called the local style spirited.
It's a very polite way to put it. I'd probably go with highly dynamic and opportunistic.
So is it expressive or is it just aggressive? For someone coming from, say, the Midwest with very strict lane laws, how do you tell the difference?
That's the key adjustment you have to make. It's a mindset shift. The horn, like you said, is communication. A quick tap is, hey, I'm here, or I'm passing you. A long blast is a real warning.
So it's not personal.
It's not personal at all. But drivers are comfortable with very close quarters. They make swift merges. They use every single inch of pavement available.
So lanes are?
Lanes are more of a suggestion, especially on highways and during merges. The key is just to be a defensive driver. Stay highly aware and understand that their confidence is just typical. It's not hostile. You have to relax, but stay alert.
It sounds intimidating. But the sources are also really clear that this whole logistical challenge, the rental, the tolls, the driving style, it all comes with a massive non-negotiable payoff.
It absolutely does. The payoff is the freedom that car gives you. Without it, you are stuck in the tourist zones.
Right.
With it, you can suddenly veer off the highway because you smell wood smoke and you realize you've stumbled upon some amazing roadside lecanera.
Or you can find those pristine, hidden beaches that aren't on any resort shuttle route.
Exactly. The effort required is directly proportional to the authenticity of the experience you're going to have. The car is the key. It's what lets you escape the bubble.
Okay, so we've landed, we have the car, we've mentally prepared for the expressive driving. Now, for a week-long trip, the next critical decision is where to plant yourself. Where's your home base?
And this is a huge decision because our source material defines 5 critical zones, and you cannot realistically cover all of them in just 7 days.
Right, you have to be deliberate.
Very. If you try to see the whole island, your week just turns into a driving marathon. The goal is to pick 2 main zones, maximum, that align with what you want to do.
History, relaxation, surfing.
Whatever it is. Pick your zones, and then use that rental car for strategic day trips.
Let's start with Zone 1 then, the cultural core. The beating heart of Old San Juan.
This is the obvious choice for the historian, the culture vulture, anyone who really craves that romantic, historic atmosphere.
You're literally staying inside a city that's over 500 years old.
And the sensory details are what it's all about. those iconic blue Attica cobblestones.
Which were originally ballast from Spanish ships, right?
Exactly. And the tightly packed, incredibly vibrant colonial buildings painted every color you can imagine. Mustard yellow, teal, flamingo pink. It's pure architectural immersion.
And you've got the forts, the restaurants, the nightlife, all right outside your door.
It's all right there.
But every core comes with trade-offs. If you choose to stay inside those historic walls, what are you giving up?
Several things, and they're important. First, noise. Old San Juan is acoustically vibrant day and night.
Music, people talking.
All of it. And it gets through those beautiful but often thin historic walls. Second, parking. As we mentioned, it becomes a legendary daily struggle.
Right.
Street parking is minimal, the rules are complex, and you'll likely end up in an expensive public garage that's a long walk from where you're staying.
And the hotels themselves aren't your typical modern resorts.
Not at all. You're staying in boutique hotels, historic inns, guest houses. You're not going to find swimming pools or massive lobbies. You sacrifice resort convenience for that direct, unparalleled access to history and charm.
Okay, so moving just a little bit east of the Old City, we hit Zone 2. The resort strip, Condado and Isla Verde.
This is where the classic, frictionless Caribbean vacation lives.
The Miami Beach of Puerto Rico.
That's a pretty accurate description. It's defined by ease and accessibility. This is where you'll find the big international brands, the Marriotts, the Ritz-Carltons, the Intercontinentals.
And the appeal is obvious.
Of course. You get immediate access to beautifully maintained beaches, full resort amenities, swimming pools, beach service, and a very walkable area full of shops and international restaurants.
So it's a great choice for families or anyone who just wants to de-stress with minimal effort.
Exactly. But if authenticity is what you're really after, this is where the cultural immersion starts to thin out a little bit.
It can feel a bit generic.
It can. It's lovely, but it's very polished and internationalized. It's built for the tourist who wants familiarity. So if you stay here for a week, you really need to use it as a launching pad for day trips into Old San Juan or El Yunque.
Otherwise, you might leave feeling like you had a very comfortable vacation, but not one that was distinctively Puerto Rican.
Precisely.
Now let's head south. Our critique noted we needed to include Ponce, the Pearl of the South. Let's make that Zone 3.
Yes, and Ponce is such a critical counterpoint to San Juan. It's the second largest city. It's on the south coast, so it's geographically distinct. It's for the traveler who wants history and culture, but with a different architectural flavor and the more local, less frantic pace.
What defines Ponce's character, then?
It's really the architecture. Old San Juan is defined by that military Spanish colonial style. Ponce is famous for its unique blend of neoclassical and Creole architecture. They call it Ponce Creole.
And the historic center is beautiful.
It's gorgeous. You've got these pastel-colored houses, grand civic buildings, and its most iconic landmark, the Parc de Bombas.
The old firehouse, the red and black striped building.
That's the one. So it offers a deep cultural dive, but it's a different kind of history than the military forts of San Juan.
Right, this was more of a commercial center.
Exactly. It was all about agriculture, sugar, coffee, not just military defense. The history feels less about war and more about commerce and local identity. Plus, it's home to the fantastic Ponce Museum of Art.
So staying there gives you much easier access to the island's mountainous interior and the southern coast.
It does. It provides a deeper, quieter look into the Boricua identity that exists outside the capital.
Okay, but if that structured history still feels a bit too formal, let's swing over to the west coast for Zone 4, Rincon, the laid-back vibe.
This is the ultimate atmosphere shift. This is surfer's paradise. It's way more relaxed, more bohemian. It's all geared toward the ocean lifestyle.
It's known for those world-class surf breaks, right? Domes, Marias.
Absolutely. And the accommodation reflects that whole vibe. You're not finding big resorts here. It's smaller, independently owned, guest houses, vacation rentals, surf shacks.
So if your perfect day is waking up for dawn patrol, grabbing a quick local breakfast, and then spending the evening watching the sunset over the water, this is your place.
100%. The sunsets in Rincon are legendary. They just paint the sky over the Mona Passage. It lacks the dense historical sites, but it offers this incredible connection to the island's rugged coast and a much, much slower pace of life.
It's where the chilled-out adventurer goes to just be.
Exactly.
And finally, Zone 5, the ultimate disconnection. The offshore islands of Vieques and Culebra. This one's a real commitment.
It is. These islands are truly a vacation within a vacation. It's a whole other level of getaway.
VX is famous for the wild horses, right?
Yeah, the wild horses that roam freely, which is a legacy from its time as a U.S. Navy bombing range. And of course, it has the brightest bioluminescent bay in the entire world, Mosquito Bay,
And Culebra has Flamenco Beach.
which is consistently ranked as one of the most beautiful beaches on the planet. A perfect crescent of pure white sand.
The highlights are just incredible, but the logistics are the biggest hurdle of the entire trip. We need to give a serious, detailed warning about the ferry system.
This is so critical, and it's where so many travelers stumble. Access is either an expensive little puddle jumper flight or the public ferry.
And the ferry no longer leaves from Fajardo.
Right, big change.
Yeah.
It now leaves from the port in Ciba, which is about an hour and a half east of San Juan. That's step one, just knowing where to go.
And step 2 is actually getting the tickets.
Which is notoriously chaotic and requires commitment. You absolutely must book your tickets online, and you have to do it well in advance.
You can't just show up.
Showing up at the Ciba terminal on the day you want to leave and just winging it, hoping
Yeah.
to get a ticket for you and your rental car. That is a high-risk gamble that almost always ends in frustration and wasted hours.
So how far in advance are we talking?
Weeks, if not months. Commit to the online booking process. The reward is that total disconnection, but it demands meticulous advance planning. Okay, let's shift now to what is arguably the most immersive way to really understand the island. It's food. Its unique, rich, and fiercely proud culinary identity.
Right. And food in Puerto Rico is so much more than just sustenance. It's a direct expression of its history.
It really is, and it's so essential to set the record straight right away, just like the source material insists. Puerto Rican food is its own glorious, distinct thing. It is absolutely not the same as Mexican food.
That's a huge point of confusion for a lot of people.
It is. They might share some foundational ingredients, rice, beans, but the flavor profile, the spices, the cooking techniques are profoundly different.
Puerto Rican cuisine, cocina criolla, is a fusion.
A beautiful fusion.
Yeah.
The roots are so deep. You have the indigenous Taino people's use of local tubers and things like grilling over fire barbacoa.
Then you have the Spanish colonizers who brought olives, garlic, cilantro.
And then, so critically, you have the flavors and techniques from West Africa.
Yeah.
Things like plantains and root vegetables.
So that Trinity Taino, Spanish, African creates this depth and complexity you just don't find anywhere else in the Caribbean.
And if there's one dish that's the national ambassador for that whole identity, it has to be mofongo.
Non-negotiable. You have to try it. It's this dense, savory dish, and we need to walk through how it's made because the texture is what makes it so addictive.
It starts with green, unripe plantains. So they're starchy and savory, not sweet like the yellow ones,
And these are sliced, fried.
often twice fried, to get a nice little crust on them. Then comes the critical part. They're mashed vigorously, traditionally in a wooden mortar and pestle called a pilon.
Right, and they're mashed with a ton of garlic, olive oil, and usually pork cracklings or bacon chicharron.
And the result is this dense, deeply flavorful, savory mixture that's then shaped by hand into a ball or a bowl. It's hearty, it's comforting, and that flavor of the fresh garlic against the earthy plantain is just, it's phenomenal.
And it's usually served stuffed, right, Riano?
Yeah, and the fillings are what take it from a side dish to a main course. We're talking slow stewed chicken, tender steak,
Yeah.
or the absolute classic garlic shrimp mofongo relleno con camarones.
And the sauce from the filling just soaks into that dense plantain.
It softens it slightly, adds moisture. It's just an essential experience.
Okay, so once you've had your mofongo, the next culinary quest has to be for pork. You have to find the island's signature roast, lechon asado.
This is more than a dish. It's an event. A whole pig, slow roasted over an open fire or on a spit for hours and hours, sometimes overnight.
And the goal is twofold, right? The meat has to be incredibly tender.
Falling apart with a fork.
Yeah.
And the skin. The skin has to be transformed.
The cuero.
Yes. The source material is so right to focus on the texture. It is so crispy, so caramelized, that it literally shatters like glass when you bite into it. It's this masterful balance.
And for the best, most authentic experience,
Yeah.
you have to make a pilgrimage. You have to go to the central mountains to the area called Guavate.
Guavat is lined with these famous lecaneras. They're open-air, roadside restaurants that are just dedicated to the art of perfect roast pork.
And the atmosphere is just electric.
Oh, it is. You arrive, You see the pigs roasting, you smell wood smoke, you hear the music and the chatter. It's loud, it's communal, it's vibrant. You wait in line, you watch the cook take a machete to chop your portion right off the roast.
And you get your sides, like a rose condoleezza rice with pigeon peas or a pastel.
It's where you truly eat like a local. Not in some fancy restaurants in San Juan, but in this loud, joyous mountain environment.
For the more everyday snacks, though, the island's kiosk culture is absolutely vital.
This is the definition of accessible, delicious street food. Kiosks are these small, colorful food stands, usually clustered together.
Like the famous ones near Luquillo Beach. It's a whole row of them.
It is. It's like a line of 50 different vendors. It's overwhelming in the best possible way. And you have to look for two specific fritters there.
Okay, what are they?
First, alcapurrias. These are these longish fritters, and the dough is made from this amazing blend of grated green banana and taro root or yetilla.
And they're filled with seasoned ground beef.
Or pork, and then deep fried. They're savory, they're earthy, and they have this really unique, dense texture.
And the second one?
Bacalaitos. These are flat, almost like a disc, and they're made from a batter that is shredded salted codfish, bacalao in it.
So they're salty and savory.
Exactly. Crispy and golden on the edges, tender in the middle. They have this great salty, oceanic flavor, quintessential beach food.
Shifting to drinks, the island's relationship with rum is obviously inseparable from its identity.
Right. And while the pina colada was invented there, and we should give it credit, Puerto Rico's rum culture is so much deeper and more sophisticated than sweet resort cocktails.
And the sources have a great tip here. The Bacardi factory tour is popular, but it's very corporate.
It's a heavily commercialized brand experience.
Right.
If you want a genuine taste of heritage rum, the advice is to skip it.
And
Instead, go find the Rondel Barrilito Distillery. It's a historic, authentic operation. They give a much more intimate tasting experience. They focus on the history, the aging process.
Yeah.
You really connect with the craft, not just the marketing.
And for just a simple, refreshing beer with your kiosk food on the beach?
It's got to be Medalla Light. It's the undisputed local champ, a crisp, easy-drinking lager, perfect for the heat.
Finally, we have to talk about Chinchorro.
The perfect blend of the culinary and the social.
It's not just a pub crawl, right?
No, it's a uniquely Puerto Rican social outing. It involves driving from one small roadside bar or eatery Chinchorro to the next.
And at each stop, you just grab a small bite and a drink.
A fritter, a small taco, a beer. It's the ultimate expression of the island's extroverted culture. It's a fantastic way to see parts of the island you'd never see otherwise, to talk to locals, listen to music, and just eat authentically and affordably.
So that challenging rental car we talked about.
It's your essential tool for a successful chinchorro.
Okay, so we've handled logistics, we've eaten incredibly well. Let's turn to the spectacular variety of activities. This is really where Puerto Rico sells itself.
The ability to just seamlessly shift between ancient history, incredible biodiversity, and these unique natural wonders.
Let's start with the history, back in Zone 1. The advice is to dedicate a full, unhurried day to just walking through Old San Juan.
You have to. And it's all about scale and strategy. The two mandatory historical sites are the massive Spanish fortifications, El Morro and Castillo San Cristobal.
And these are not just some quaint ruins.
Not at all. These are monumental Spanish military installations. They were built to guard the entrance to the bay for over 400 years.
Walking the city walls, exploring the 5 levels of El Morro, it gives you this profound sense of the island's strategic importance.
You can almost hear the history in the stones.
Yeah.
And San Cristobal is fascinating because it's technically the largest fortification the Spanish ever built in the New World.
It was designed to protect from a land attack while El Morro guarded the sea.
Right. You realize that Puerto Rico was literally the gateway, the strategic choke point for centuries of global trade and conflict.
Okay, so from the history of man to the power of nature, the next mandatory stop is El Yunque National Forest.
And its status is so unique. It is the only tropical rainforest in the entire U.S. National Forest System.
Which means you get the ease of the U.S. system, but the biodiversity of a dense tropical environment. What should a visitor expect?
Expect dense, lush greenery, high humidity, and, well, frequent rain showers. It is a rainforest.
Of course.
You'll find incredible waterfalls, like Lamina Falls, though some trails can be close, so you have to check ahead. It's just an immersion in unique flora and fauna. It's the perfect, cooling escape from the heat of the city.
And this brings us to a critical planning tip that trips up so many travelers.
A huge one.
You can't just drive up to the main part of the park anymore.
This is a major change. It's mostly to control capacity after the post-hurricane recovery. You now need to book a reservation online in advance to enter the main area of the park. This is not a suggestion. It is mandatory.
And how far in advance do you need to do that?
The reservations are often released 30 days ahead of time, and they sell out fast, especially for weekends during peak season. You have to treat this like booking a flight. It's a part of your planning you do weeks in advance.
But what if you miss that window? Is your trip to El Yunque just ruined?
Not at all. And this is the nuanced advice. The reservation system is for the core, most popular recreational area.
The Lamina area.
Exactly. The larger national forest has tons of other accessible trailheads and waterfalls that are outside that reservation zone. So if you miss out, use your rental car, research the satellite trails, and you can still have an amazing rainforest experience just without the crowds.
And whether you're hiking in El Yunque or just sitting on a balcony in Old San Juan at dusk, you're going to hear Puerto Rico's soundtrack.
The tiny cookie frog.
It's an auditory symbol of the island.
It is. It's a tiny little tree frog, maybe the size of a quarter, and its coqui call just fills the air as soon as the sun goes down. If you don't hear them, you're not in Puerto Rico. It's a constant, soothing reminder of where you are.
Okay, and now for the ultimate activity. The one the source material calls the absolute #1 must-do non-negotiable activity.
The bioluminescent bays.
This is the natural magic that defines the trip.
It really is. The island is incredibly rare because it has 3 of these bio bays, which are just massive concentrations of these microscopic organisms called dinoflagellates.
And when the water is agitated,
they react by emitting this brilliant, startling flash of blue-green light.
It sounds like something out of science fiction.
It feels like it. It's a true once-in-a-lifetime experience. The brightest one in the world is Mosquito Bay on VX.
And the sources describe it in these breathless terms: kayaking on a moonless night.
Dipping your paddle and watching the water just explode in a swirling vortex of electric blue-green light. Trailing your hand in the water feels like you have actual magic powers.
But just like El Yunque and the ferry, this is an activity that demands meticulous planning. The timing is absolutely everything.
It is the single most sensitive planning detail of the entire trip. If you do this, you have to plan your visit to align with the new moon cycle, or the week right around it.
Because if the moon is full,
or even half full, the natural moonlight is so bright it just completely washes out the glow. It diminishes the experience almost to nothing.
So you need to be checking the lunar calendar before you even book your flights.
That's how essential the timing is. You book your flight for the shoulder season, you book your VX ferry based on availability, and you make sure your Bio Bay tour is on a night with no moon. It's a powerful phenomenon, but it demands that kind of focused, advanced prep. The payoff is pure magic. Okay, so we've built the trip from the flight all the way through the toughest logistics and the most amazing activities. Before we give our final verdict, let's synthesize this. First, what should a savvy traveler just skip?
And then let's get into the most important part. The real soul, the true vibe of the island.
Sounds good. Let's start with the candid advice. What traps should you deliberately avoid? The first one seems to be about pacing.
Right. Skip the urge to be a completionist. Trying to do it all in 1 week. San Juan, El Yunque, Ponce, Rincon, and VX.
It's a recipe for disaster. It'll just turn your vacation into a frenetic driving tour. You'll spend your whole time behind the wheel, completely stressed out.
The sources are pretty clear. Pick 2 main geographical areas, max, for a 7-day trip.
Settle in, explore them deeply, and actually enjoy the rhythm of the place.
Okay, on the food front, we've kind of said this, but it's worth making it a formal skip.
Skip the generic food experiences. Just avoid the big, recognizable American chain restaurants you'll see near the airport or in Condado.
Puerto Rico has a world-class, unique culinary scene.
It does. So challenge yourself. Stop at the local kiosks, do a chinchorreo, find those mountain liccioneras.
And the specific drink advice again?
Skip the Bacardi factory tour. It's pure marketing for a global brand. Invest your time and money in the more historic, authentic tasting experience at Rondel Barrilito. That's where you find the real heritage and craft.
Okay, now let's talk about the essential element that ties this whole deep dive together, the vibe, the soul of the island. What's the takeaway?
The overriding feeling is one of just profound resilience and fierce pride. I mean, you can still see signs of rebuilding from Hurricane Maria years ago, but the stronger, more pervasive feeling is the unshakable spirit of the people, their love for their home.
It's an incredibly resilient and welcoming place.
It is. And that spirit is really encapsulated in the word they use for themselves, Boricua.
Right.
Boricua is the term Puerto Ricans use, and it comes from the island's original indigenous name, Borican, from the Taíno people.
So it's a word that signifies this deep, complex pride in their distinct identity.
It connects them not just to their colonial past,
Right.
but to their pre-Columbian roots. That's a very powerful word.
And that pride leads to what is, for me, the most fascinating and sometimes confusing part of the experience. That constant, vibrant duality.
The familiarity of the U.S. structure set against this distinctly Latin American heart.
It creates this kind of cognitive dissonance for an American traveler. On one hand, you have the easy logistics, the dollar, the U.S. Postal Service you see a Marshall's or a Walgreens.
But then you turn a blue cobblestone corner, and you are instantly, completely immersed in a Latin American nation.
Spanish is the dominant language, not English.
The rhythm of life, the music, the family structures, the 500 years of unique history, it is entirely disconnected from mainland U.S. culture. It's this contradictory blend that is just so vibrantly alive.
And you can hear it. The ambiance is music.
The sources all say the island is loud and full of life. You hear salsa pouring out of small bars, the pulse of reggaeton from passing cars.
And that amazing sound of dominoes being slammed onto tables in the town squares.
It's just an extroverted, culturally dense, and audibly expressive place.
And for the traveler who makes an effort, that extroverted culture is incredibly rewarding.
Oh, absolutely. The people are so warm and happy to share their culture, and this is the final, most important piece of advice. If you approach the culture with genuine active interest.
If you try, even with terrible Spanish.
Even with terribly awkward Spanish.
Yeah.
If you just make an effort to communicate and engage, you'll be rewarded tenfold with hospitality, with help, and with a true window into the Boricua soul. That's how you unlock the island's full potential, not just with logistics, but with cultural engagement.
So we've navigated the dense logistics, the rental car, the tolls, the ferry. We've explored the history of Old San Juan, the architecture of punts, the magic of the Bio Bay. Now for the final verdict, based on everything from your sources. A week in Puerto Rico. For the culture-seeking, adventure-minded traveler, is it worth the effort?
My conclusion is an emphatic, ringing yes.
But there's a condition.
There's a condition.
Yeah.
It's absolutely worth it only if you treat it as the unique, culturally rich destination it is. You have to commit to the effort. Rent the car, schedule the El Yunque reservation, align your trip with the new moon, get outside of the resort bubble, and actively seek to engage with that deep Boricua spirit.
If you do those things, the experience is unparalleled.
It is.
I agree. I mean, the complete package is astounding. For a U.S. traveler, the variety is just staggering. You get the logistical ease of a domestic flight, coupled with the ability to explore a 16th century Spanish fort, hike the only tropical rainforest in the U.S. system, and then kayak in water that glows in the dark.
All packaged within this distinct, proud, and musically vibrant culture. It's the highest yield of exotic experience for the lowest travel fiction you can find anywhere in the Caribbean.
So plan meticulously for that El Yunque reservation.
Book those SEBA ferry tickets well in advance.
Accept the Otter Espresso transponder fee.
And commit to eating absolutely everything sold at a roadside chinchorro.
And prepare for a profound, rich experience that will absolutely challenge your definition of what a domestic trip can even be.
Which brings us to our final provocative thought for you, the learner.
Okay.
Since Puerto Rico offers this complete logistical ease of American travel, same currency, same postal system, same airport infrastructure, yet it maintains the fierce heart, the rhythm, and the distinct identity of a Latin American culture with 500 years of its own history. How does this unique status challenge our conventional definitions of what makes a foreign or domestic travel experience truly enriching?
That's a great question. Does the simplicity of the logistics make the cultural discovery any less profound? Or does that ease just give you more energy to focus on the identity of the place?
We'd encourage you to reflect on that difference between governmental structure and national identity. It really is the key to understanding the full charm of the Island of Enchantment.